Cool. Well, week 3, The Princess Bride. This is Dave's pick. Yes, Rob Reiner directed, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. All right, Andre the Giant stole the show. If anybody disagrees with me, that's fine. He was hilarious.
He is hilarious.
Gigantic. He is definitely a giant. That is not.
It really lets you know when he puts his hands across somebody's face.
And it's like the whole head disappears inside of his grip.
His thumb is like their cheek. Yeah, that's pretty intense.
And he's being gentle. Imagine if the guy wasn't gentle.
Oh man, I like the Spaniard guy too, the sword fighter.
I'll throw
you a rope.
Indigo.
I promise you, I will wait for you to get up here.
His character offers help, before he goes to fight this guy in a duel and he's gonna fight to the death. He's offering to help him up.
Yeah,
it's a fair fight.
It's funny,
Yeah,
there's depth to that character.
It's good.
Well, I think the Dread Pirate Roberts had the same kind of thing going with him. You know, he offered him a chance.
Well, Dread Pirate Roberts is set up to be this bad guy, and once you get to know him, though, it's
Yeah. He's a normal guy.
Yeah, you can't judge a book by its cover, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, it's his movie, The Princess Bride. It's called The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny, those movies, it's called The Princess Bride, but the princess didn't even, it was an afterthought for me in the film.
The princess is in the whole movie, it's all about her.
Yeah, kind of.
Rescuing her.
Yeah, rescuing her, but the film, I don't know,
it's more of a comedy.
Yeah, the knight or whatever, the guy, the Zorro character, he really pushed the
Dread Pirate.
The Dread Pirate, yeah, Roberts pushed I don't know, he's the main character for me. I felt she was the supporting cast. I did. I felt she was supporting cast.
Well, I would, Wesley definitely, I think, the story's more about his adventure than the princess, I would say, I guess. But I don't know if it has a main character.
It does feature Inigo Montoya's story, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The main story is the princess gets kidnapped, and she's rescued.
Well, she gets double kidnapped.
Yeah. Double kidnapped, rescued. And then
rescued by a person that wants to murder her.
Yeah.
Right? No. Rescued by somebody that then pretends to rescue her again just so he can murder her.
Try to murder her again.
To start a war, right? It's a false flag movie. That's what this is about. This movie's about false flags. That's what the movie's about. False flag operations.
Oh man, it was faulty from the start.
To start a war.
The Prince Humperdinck proposed a false flag operation. He was proposing.
He hired Vincini.
Mm-hmm.
Inconceivable, that guy. He hires him in order to kidnap his bride on their engagement night, in order to kill her, blame it on somebody else so they can start a war.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly why he wants to start a war. He might, allude to ruining the world or something.
It's fairy tale land.
Yeah. It's fairy tale land. I don't know. I mean, they have shrieking eels, so I don't know if
Back in
really...
that time period, what did people do back then that had power? They just conquered and took over more land. So that's all you need to know.
That's all. Yeah. He wanted to take over Gilder, or he wanted to at least go to war with them.
Yeah, he just wanted to go to war, really.
Really, yeah. Doesn't say that he wants to conquer them.
But he does make the comment about
ruling the world.
And
he does
not
say
being
that.
so easy.
Yeah. You should try ruling the world sometime.
All of Andre the Giant scenes, I laugh at them. It's only funny because it's Andre the Giant saying the silly, he's rhyming and stuff.
I like the timing. I think the timing is what's good about it.
I don't know.
Rob Reiner's direction.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's just that it's Andre the Giant. I think it's there's a big guy, this giant guy who's supposed to be really menacing, but he's making children's rhymes and stuff, and he's kind of innocent and stuff. So, for me, it's Andre the Giant, but I think a kid that would not know who Andre the Giant was might laugh and giggle at those scenes just because there is this big, imposing figure that looks really scary, who's just kind of jovial and nice and, lovable in a way. He's like a big teddy bear kind of guy. So I think that just makes him kind of lovable.
Yeah, I just love it that he has a classic role in a classic film to be remembered by. He had his wrestling career, but he also has this movie. I think that's awesome.
And who would have thought he'd play a giant? Who would have guessed?
Well, he did play Sasquatch or Bigfoot in a episode of the $6 Million Man.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did play Bigfoot in an episode.
Nice.
Oh, I never saw that.
Nice.
There's another story that's happened during this movie, though. You have the grandpa and the grandson as well. And Fred Savage goes through kind of a character development there, where at first he's like, ew, kissing, I don't want to hear this story.
He's like Chris.
But anyway, Chris said he had never seen The Princess Bride. So we end up, then we gotta watch this movie. And so, he's like, no, I don't want to, it's Princess Bride, I don't want to watch this. So you were just like Fred Savage.
It's
Being
true.
like-
That's why I was looking forward to that. As soon as like
Oh, like
Fred
Fred.
Savage just came on, I knew that was like I would hope that you would make that connection. That it was like, oh,
Yeah, that I'm a 10-year-old boy whose grandpa's coming to read him a book. Yeah, I'll make that connection. That's always happens. That happens all the time for me.
But you did enjoy it though, right?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and by the end of the movie, you're like rooting for the
Yeah,
characters, and you're
yeah.
involved in the movie, and we all laughed, and we all enjoyed the film. I think. So.
It's definitely a kids movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as you know.
See, I don't see it as a kids movie because if as a kid I wouldn't get out of it as much as I get out of it as an
Now,
adult.
right?
So, I mean, kids definitely can watch it. It's definitely a family movie.
Yeah, I watched it when
But
I
I
was
don't
a
think
kid
it's
and
a
loved
kids
it.
movie.
I think
I
it's.
wouldn't say it's a kids movie.
I think it is. I think it is a kids movie, but I think it falls in the category of a family movie to where it appeals to both sides of the coin to sell more tickets because it has everything a parent wants and it has everything a kid wants. It's got fantasy and it has comedy that the parents can get. If you look at some of the newer movies that Disney puts out, it's the same principles, the same formula.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's adult jokes mixed in between kids jokes. You see the cartoons that are coming out these days; they have the same kind of appeal to them. It's just a marketing thing, I think.
I found it surprising that Fred Savage was like, "Jesus, Grandpa!" You know, like taking the Lord's name in vain or whatever, like in front of his grandpa. That's not quite kid movie-ish. I don't know.
I like the part where he just like cuts right back into it. Andre Giant hits the eel.
Just like clocks it.
Come here.
You know, and he's reading the book, so he's like skimming through, and it's like reconnecting you with the story a little bit. It was, you know, I think it's kind of whimsical. But it goes from him like, oh, Grandpa's here, you know, all the way to the end where he's like, will you come back tomorrow, Grandpa? So
yeah.
that's kind of cool. You get this development of their
It
relationship.
starts though is he's playing. He's staying home from school because he's sick, but he's playing video games,
Mhm.
which looks like an Atari controller, but looks like more of a
Nintendo
game.
game.
Yeah.
He's got like the bears on his wall. We were sitting there like naming the He-Man toys. You know, they were on the shelves and stuff.
Definitely an '80s film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Smacked all over
But
that.
he's like a kid in the '80s, but his dad or his grandpa's getting to appreciate this story that he wouldn't normally appreciate, which is a good moral. You know?
I think so. Well, and connecting with the, you know, old, connecting with young, and you know, being family oriented,
And like you said, his character grows because at the end he wants his grandpa to come back
Yeah.
and read him the same story again the next day
Yeah.
because he did enjoy it, even though he was so against it.
Yeah.
well, it is called The Princess Bride. I mean, come on. Do you think it was intentional on the part of the writer to make that a story that was titled The Princess Bride, so you would feel the same way the main character, you know, Fred Savage's
Well-
character would when you approach the film?
I don't know that answer, but
Yeah.
it's,
I don't know. I can't.
Because a lot of people do. When you mention The Princess Bride, they're like, The Princess Bride, that sounds like a little girl's movie, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
But really, it's not a little girl's movie. I don't think. I mean,
It's
it's
no.
got
not a little girl's
swashbuckling,
movie.
and it's got, yeah, exactly.
No.
But it has the title of one that would elude you
Right.
to think that
yeah,
it
The
is.
Princess Bride seems like the epitome of title for a
Yeah.
little girl's movie.
Yeah, it
And
does.
It's not. It
and
really
it's
isn't.
not at all. And it goes to show, just like in the movies, a whole kind of moral sum up, you can't judge a book by its cover,
Yeah.
so to say. Which is really what the, you know, I think the title of the film and the whole film wraps together. You can't judge a book by its cover, kind of thing. Even I guess
But you can't judge any of the characters by like stereotypes because he takes all of his characters and yeah, like you're saying with Andre, you'd expect the big menacing giant to be this big menacing giant, and he's not.
Yeah.
He's a
Kind-hearted.
friendly giant.
Yeah.
that's-
the jolly giant.
Yeah.
Jolly.
He's not green.
And
But he's
the,
jolly.
the reason
Giant.
that he and Indigo have jobs are just because they need money and they're doing this like side work with the guy.
Yeah, with like this guy who's supposed to be super smart, but he's not at all. He's like an idiot,
Yeah.
you know.
His is it deductive reasoning? Is that what he's doing? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I can't take the glass in front of you. You know, he's like going back and forth. You know?
I remember watching that for the first time as a kid and being like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, it makes no sense. It really makes no sense. So I guess you can try to follow it, but he's stalling.
Yeah, he is stalling.
As
Yeah.
Wesley says,
Right.
just stalling. If you think I'm going to give something away, I won't. You know, it's like he's very, you know. And so then he's like, what's that over there?
And Wesley is cool and calm. I mean, he's like,
Yeah.
Indigo is cool, and then Wesley's cool, and it's cool.
Wesley's a true hero in the aspect that he's like the fastest, the strongest, the smartest. He's all about true love. He doesn't care about anything else really. He's not in it for money. He's not in it for anything but kind of like moral goodness, you know. So I think that's interesting because a lot of movies today don't necessarily have like true heroes.
Mm-hmm.
But returning to the Princess Bride, I guess that's what we're actually. You know, with this film, it's kind of fluffy. There's not a ton. You know, I don't know.
It's a basic structure.
Yeah.
The plot isn't very. You're not gonna get lost in it.
No, it's not complicated.
It's what it is.
And there's not a lot of twists and turns to the story necessarily.
No, it's just
you know?
it's good.
It's a character-based
lighthearted
comedy.
Comedy, yeah. Good humor in it, and it's
I heard us all laughing out loud. It is family friendly. It has like one son of a bitch and one Jesus in it, and a little bit of blood. And
one son of a bitch and a Jesus.
But I will say though, the one son of a bitch is well placed.
Yeah, I think so.
And the Jesus is funny.
It is. So. It is. It's abrupt, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's abrupt, but I think it's well placed. But yeah, that's, you know, it is obviously a dated film. But I think that even kids today could watch it, enjoy it. I think people, adults today, I watched it and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's a timeless classic.
I do too.
Wasn't Wesley Robin Hood in Men in Tights?
I think he was.
He
Robin
was.
Hood in Men in Tights. I think he was also in Kiss the Girls, possibly.
I was wanting to bring up, watching this makes me want to watch Errol Flynn. Do you know Errol Flynn?
He played Robin Hood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in what was it, like was it 60s that he played?
Stuff.
Or was it 30s, that far back? Because I saw it in Technicolor, I guess. I thought. Did he have any like color films that he did? That's what. Okay, I saw it in color then. That's
You
fair.
realize that Wizard of Oz is a color film and it came out.
They're 30s, yeah.
Okay. I mean, people don't really, they don't have a good education on films. Everybody thinks before the 60s was black and white
Yeah, it
or
was all
something.
black.
Yeah,
It's not the case.
that's true. The budget though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
It's hard a movie to discuss, guys.
Well, it's not a hard movie to discuss at all. It's an easy movie to discuss.
It goes quite easily. There's not a lot to argue about or
Yeah.
discuss, really. There's no twists or turns. I think we know which characters we like. We know which characters we're supposed to dislike because they're not nice people. You kind of like the albino a little bit, you know?
Do you?
A little
Oh,
bit.
yes.
You
You
know?
gotta speak for yourself.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is he's...
I didn't like the stuff in the corner of his mouth.
He's
Oh,
gross.
man.
He's gross. But he's not like a villain. He's like a henchman that's he's not really a bad guy. He's just doing what he's told in a way. He's just not, you know, you don't hate him the way you hate the other characters, like the Prince and the Count, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Prince and the Count, they're bad guys. And you know it. Those guys are bad guys. And then, you know, you're good guys. Like, even whenever you meet the Giant and you meet Indigo, they're supposed to be bad guys, but you know right away they're not really.
Yeah, they're not. They're never threatening. Really.
No,
They're never menacing.
No.
You think
This guy's talking about killing the princess, and he's still not menacing, you know? It's such a good idea.
Think someone's following us?
It's inconceivable.
It's inconceivable. Do you think someone's following us? Wait, well, there's somebody over there.
Well, I look back. And
It's inconceivable. I look at they're climbing the rope. He's like, I'm carrying 3 guys. You go faster.
Did I mention your job is at stake? It's great. It's great. And I think like films like this can sometimes, and it's kind of like what you were saying earlier as well, is it's like nowadays when I watch a film, my sympathies for the characters are a little bit muddled. My idea of like who they are, I can't identify which character is which exactly, and I don't know if that's I guess I'm neutral on it, whether it's good or bad necessarily. I can't find such pure characters in film anymore as much. But in this, it's not that way. The lines are drawn, it's very easy to tell, and it's kind of refreshing. It's like, you know, it's not so muddled.
All right, what's the pick next week?
bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia.
Are we
Excited about this.
Are we gonna say whether we?
No, I'm just really. I know I'm more excited about your pick next week. So I want to see this movie since like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
It was supposed to
That's
be
what I'm saying.
It was supposed to be our first pick.
So it's
and I've
like
been
3
waiting.
weeks. I've been wanting to see this fucking movie.
I've heard you talk about it,
Yeah.
and I've heard it a few other people, kind of friends, talk about it, but I don't have no idea what it's
Yeah, I'm going like blind.
I assume
into
it's
this.
about
cool, man.
getting
I'm
some
glad
Excited.
to
side.
go blind because I went blind with Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah.
You know.
I did not look anything up. I want to go blind, but I'm like, no joke. I've been waiting for it to get back around to see this movie because week 1 we talked about it and I was excited about it and I want to see. Yeah. Cool. Hey, that was awesome. It was a funny film. Everybody enjoyed it.
It's a great film.
I think it's a great film.
I think all 3 of
very
us
enjoyable.
have recommending it
Yeah.
to somebody.
I totally recommend that film to anybody really. I think anybody could sit and watch.
Anybody.
And anybody can
Anybody.
sit, watch, and enjoy that film. It doesn't matter if you're your mama, your granny, or your two panty danny.
Alright, see you next week.
Wow.
Peace. No, I'm just kidding. Start that over. See you next week.